Okay, what even is service management? I must say, before we took on this project at NeSI, I hadn't come across the term, probably, except we were actually doing it, but we didn't identify it. So it's how teams manage the end-to-end delivery of services. So everything from creating new services, pricing services, documentation, configuration management, service requests, problem management. Oh, it's so exciting. It's the whole gamut. And why do we care about it? So the research sector and its needs are evolving. So at NeSI, what we were finding is that we'd gone from sort of a core service or handful of services, and then with things like the Flexi HPC and our engagement with eResearch, for example, we had a different type of customer who had different types of needs. We also had, with more different types of services, our staff had to, deal with new things. More different questions were coming in as support tickets, for example. So what we started thinking about is how do we ensure the quality of our experiences when we're doing more with more people. So we wanted it to be scalable, reproducible, transparent, and compatible. So we did what everyone does, and we looked at who was doing it well and copied them. So European Open Science Cloud, we're similar. It's a not-for-profit group supporting researchers. They are federated across multiple countries, so they've got an even bigger challenge. But they'd adopted this thing called FitSM, which is a really lightweight ITSM model. So for those of you with more of an IT background, that ITSM is your classical service management. And I believe there's like tomes of text on how to do it properly. We were never going to do it with that much paperwork, so what was going to work for us? And the other thing to call out here is with FitSM, so our approach to service management, even with that being a lightweight one, we didn't want to smash the team with a bunch of process for process sake, basically. So we went in with a mindset of we actually called it at the time agile service management. So we wanted to incrementally layer this in based on a sort of needs must approach. So as we realised that we needed something, a good process there, we'd double down in that space, and then we'd leave it. And we were able to do that because we did some baselining at the beginning. So the FitSM model actually has a sort of baselining tool where you can go, we want to aim for this level of maturity, these are the things that will look like. And that was super helpful for us as a team to get on the same page of, we're not going to have this change approval process, we're going to have this one because that's actually good enough for us. What have we learnt through all of this? You do actually need a process, even if it's not written down, it just needs to be agreed. So that's sort of quite core to service management, agreeing what you're going to do. People, you need someone to own it. And this FitSM approach has a role model, which is really useful for us to sort of sit down with the team and go, right, who actually owns this? This is what you're responsible for. Sometimes that can be a bit of a surprise, but it's that people element, right? You've got a process, but it's nothing unless people take it, craft it, own it, love it. Tools are helpful, but you actually need to engage with them and optimise them for them to work well for you. So I crossed out tools and actually put people again. So service management, we're back to people being really critical here. So if we want to have a tool working for us, then we need people to make that happen. We have a process around continuous improvement. Now that's a layer cake with, Agile is all about Agile is all about continuous improvement. Product management's all about continuous improvement. Service management's about continuous improvement. So that's key. And then to implement something like this, it's actually a change program. Yay! So you need that buy-in. You need to understand why are we even doing it. Here's some of where we're up to now. So for a while we were in a discovery phase. We were sort of trying to convince ourselves why this would actually be relevant for us. But now we're actually doing it. We have everyone in one tool. We've gone with Jira Service Management. I should wear the T-shirt. Someone send it to me. So that means all our tickets are in the same place as where we manage our problems, where we manage our changes. And so there's sort of this hyper-visibility. That's all complemented with status pages as well. And I love this photo because what it comes back to is that people aspect. So it's just sort of acknowledging that, yes, service management, we've got tools, we've got processes, but actually it's all about people taking that approach that we want to deliver a consistent, excellent service that's reproducible. It doesn't take heroics. It gets easier and easier the more we just sort of settle into a useful process. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for George? Any? While she stands? No. Okay. Thank you, George. Next, we have Wes Harell from Manaki Whenua Land Care Research, talking to us about eResearch in an age of austerity.
Kia koutou, ko Wes Harell toko ingoa. As you can see from the slide, I'm the manager of eResearch support at Manaki Whenua. I've been in the role for just over a year. It was a brand new role, so a lot of this is partially what I've learned over the past year, and some things I already knew and guessed, but others I didn't. You'll also notice this is a very clickbait title. I did that purposely, and you'll find out at the end why. But I also changed the title a little bit 2 days ago when I realized, circumstances had changed. And so, I thought it appropriate to change it. So there are a lot of challenges in eResearch, some of which I was aware of, some of which I was not. One of them is the diverse research domains. This is a non-exhaustive list of what we have just at Manaki Whenua. This does not include anything at PFR or Ag Research or anything like that. So what you have is you're trying to cater to so many different domains. What can you do? There's limited time, limited resources, but a lot of need. So that's just one of the challenges that I've realized in the past year. One of the other challenges is that this is Manaki Whenua's different places. I think we're actually missing one. I think there's some people elsewhere as well. But these are our main offices. So we're everywhere on both islands and quite spread apart. This makes it really challenging, especially for the training aspect of things. I mean, we do get around it with some hybrid things or just completely online. But nothing beats in-person training for many reasons. I won't go into them because I have probably, 2.5 minutes. So this is another challenge, and how do we best meet this challenge? Outreach and offerings. One of the biggest things that I kind of realized, but it's become more apparent, especially at a CRI where we all fill out timesheets. Some of you might not be aware of that, but most of us have to account for our time. And so what we're doing is we're in the eResearch space, we're competing for very limited resource, which is a researcher's eyeballs. either through email or through Teams or something along those lines. That's really, really hard because they're very, very busy people. They have a lot of things going on, and they have to account for their time. So, we need to maybe craft our messages differently to communicate effectively. And what services can we offer? What can we do with limited teams, limited budgets, and again, limited research time. So. And now we have new challenges, thus the change in the title a little bit. Our CRI is being merged into, I think somebody called it PROBE, the PRO for bioeconomy, with 3 other institutions, and theoretically we're going to be a 2,000 plus staff research organization. So that's going to have its own challenges, but maybe we can lean in. Maybe we have enough time to really start thinking about a lot of these things. And I know it's already started. Yesterday I was in a hui with some bioinformaticians, and that was really enlightening. Thinking about, they're already thinking about how they might want to move into a new research organization. Rising demand for economically driven research outputs. That seemed to have been a big thing that the government has put out. What's that going to mean for us? To me, if I'm going to try and do a half glass full kind of thing, is we have an opportunity to showcase what eResearch can do and what it can bring to research. And finally, we still have the other shoe hasn't dropped, and that's the USAG recommendations. What is that going to bring? I don't know. I have absolutely zero idea. Collaborate. Since I have 30 seconds, we need to collaborate better. We need to communicate. I think this is going to be a little bit easier, maybe, because we are going into 1 PRO as opposed to 4 CRIs. Prioritize data management. That is a big theme, not only here, but it's probably the biggest thing that our researchers desire is to understand how they can deal with their data. And I think I already touched on the last one. And the reason for the clickbait title was because I wanted to get as many people in here as possible to advertise our BOF tomorrow. So if you have any of your own challenges, if you want to share your solutions, if you just want to chat about anything, please join us at our Birds of a Feather session tomorrow. And that's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Any questions for Wes? No, while he stands.
Yeah, you can ask me at the bus for...
Yeah. Wine is the best. Yeah. Next we have Rebekah Au from ESR and NeSI talking to us about investigating the advantages and disadvantages of available open source frameworks for prototyping data-based applications.
Very long title. Okay. So I'm Rebekah, and I'm from UC. I'm doing my Masters of Applied Data Science, and I've been doing a research project with the Institute of Environmental Science and Research. So I worked with the data engineers and the data science and AI team, and so basically the main goal of the project was to compare different platforms that can be used to develop data-based applications. And the data science team at ESR currently builds some of these applications in Streamlit. One example is a data workflow platform they've created for the Palau Public Utilities Corporation. My aim was to evaluate some alternatives. So, traditionally, platforms have been developed in Tableau or R-Shiny, but more recently, platforms have been built in Streamlit or React. Now, React, as Richard talked about earlier, has been a great solution for complex projects that need a scalable and customizable solution. However, when rapid and easy prototyping is important, Streamlit is a good choice. So, the shift from R-Shiny to Streamlit was initially made because Streamlit was supported by Snowflake, which the team were moving towards as a data management platform. As ESR are now using a high-performance computing cluster, other options beyond Streamlit could be considered. While Streamlit is easy to use, it does have some disadvantages that do mean another platform could be a better solution for certain projects. So my goal was to build a data application in 2 alternative frameworks to Streamlit in order to see which would be best to use in different scenarios. So in order to choose which platforms to focus on, which frameworks to focus on, I developed a list of 10 potential candidates. I then created a table of the advantages, disadvantages of each one, and then I chose Python. I chose 2 to focus on and to build. So I chose Python Shiny because it uses reactive programming. It is quick to build, it draws on many of the libraries in the Python ecosystem, and Plotly Dash because it is well established, has a large amount of community support, and is naturally interactive. It is also more efficient, flexible, and scalable than Streamlit. So I built these applications based on air quality and weather data. I incorporated a time series modelling component into the applications that used weather variables as covariates in order to predict air quality. So the weather data was downloaded from the NIWA's climate database, CliFlow, and it included daily measurements of a range of variables such as dry bulb temperature, wind direction, and wind speed. The air quality data was downloaded from the LAWA site and included daily measurements for the concentration of PM 2.5. Now, PM stands for particulate matter, or airborne particles in the air. Those smaller than 2.5 micrometers are labelled as PM 2.5. Now, I focused on these because they are sometimes small enough to be inhaled into the human lung or bloodstream and cause respiratory or cardiovascular problems. So I'm going to show a very quick demonstration of the Python Shiny application in a moment. I did build a very similar replication in Plotly Dash. The aim behind the application was to test a set of criteria to see how the different frameworks performed. In order to do this, I built in a range of interactive visualizations, geospatial representations, click event handling, and modeling into the application. It's quite fast, but I just wanted to show it quickly. So on the front page, there's a map. I've got different visualizations. The user can adjust the controls to show what they want to see. Heat maps, windrows plots, time series plots, and I also built in modelling, so time series models with outputs that you can then save and reload. So the idea was to build in a whole lot of functionality so that I could compare these 2 different frameworks. Right, so while I was building these frameworks and also doing some research, I noticed some key differences. So Python Shiny automatically adds spinners and collapsible sidebars. Dash was more customizable, but it did require more programming for some parts. Python Shiny's stateful architecture means it maintains users' choices, while Plotly Dash is stateless and more horizontally scalable. Python Shiny was quicker to learn, while Dash had a steeper learning curve. Plotly Dash used more boilerplate code, while Python Shiny was quicker to get up and running. Shiny for Python was a bit newer, so came out in 2019. There's less online support and examples. Plotly Dash has been around longer and there's a stronger online base. So Plotly Dash is built around the Plotly library, while Python Shiny is more versatile. And Python Shiny was easy to deploy online for free using shiny.io, whereas Plotly Dash was a lot more challenging to deploy for free. They do have options in Dash Enterprise, but what I needed to do was Dockerize an image and then get a free Azure account and get it on there, which was a lot more challenging. So overall, Streamlit's great for quick development and simple projects. Shiny, there's a bit more a balance between development speed and flexibility. Plotly Dash, again, as I said, more horizontally scalable, so if you need a bit more customization, as long as you're happy to use the Plotly visualizations. And then, like we talked about before, some projects you might need a full stack web development program. So, yeah, I just want to say thanks to Phil Davies and Annabelle Voss, who are my supervisors, and also the team at ESR for welcoming me to the team. So.
Thank you, Rebekah. Any questions for Rebekah? Quick ones? If not, please wait for 10 more minutes and find her at the welcome function. Thank you. Next, we have Trish Radotic from ARDC talking to us about Bridging Borders, your gateway to global research data collaboration.
Sorry, I'm ready for drinks. And I apologise, I stand between you and the networking function, so apologies. Well, while that's loading, I'm Trish Radotic. I work for the ARDC as the RDA Regional Community Manager. And it's my pleasure to introduce RDA as a unique community organisation that's here to support you. Who is a member or who knows about RDA? Do you mind just bringing it over? Oh, only a few. So excellent. So give me 5 minutes. I'm going to give you a whiz through. All right, so the Research Data Alliance is a global community-based organisation set up over 11 years ago to support the global community, the research data community. Its mission is to build the technical and social bridges that connect the community around the world. And it comprises of individuals, organisations and regions, nations across the world. Now, this organisation is community-led. It's not coming up. And it's driven by the community. So the community decides what initiatives are important to it. And it's only ever been a top-down approach once during COVID, where the organisation decided to reach out to the community and say, you know, COVID data, it's important. What are we going to do about it? The community came together and created some outputs around that. But everything else is very much bottom up. Now, individuals make up our organisations, over 14,000 of them. Organisations, about 85 plus at the moment. And we also have regions and nations, about 35 members. And now, individual membership is free, and our individuals come from all domains and roles, so data management, data stewards, research data support, infrastructure support, the whole gamut really, all coming together to solve common data challenges. So the way we work is essentially, pardon me, the way we work is through groups. We have interest groups, working groups, thank you. So we have interest groups which are like domain, topic-based, working groups which have specific timelines for an output, and then we have communities of practice as well as opportunities for birds of a feather sessions, similar to what's running here at eResearch, where the community pitches an idea, sees if anyone else in the world has this problem, and if there's traction, they can join a working group for a specific output. So I just wanted to show you this graphic of where the members are based, predominantly Europe and North America, and some in Australia, New Zealand, and Asia, and Brazil. But the aim is for us to really ramp up involvement and membership in this region so that our data and our initiatives are seen and recognised and accessible and part of the global kind of community. So who makes up the community? It's predominantly researchers and academia, obviously, government, and then a small portion of large enterprises, small, medium, and policy makers. So our role is to increase participation here in this region. The RDA over the last decade have had hundreds of outputs and adoption stories, and these are some of the things, the initiatives that you might be familiar with. Please go to our website, you'll see so much more of that. Now, how it works is through our meetings. We have virtual plenaries once a year and a hybrid plenary once a year. So 2 meetings a year where the communities come together physically and virtually to progress an output. And these communities meetings are really, really important for us. It is the heart of what RDA is all about, connection and bridging, you know, the gaps and supporting each other. It's a really lovely community. So what's next? We have the next virtual plenary in April. please check out the website. It's very affordable and it will give you a great insight into how RDA works. And then International Data Week, of course, in October. We have a bunch of events coming up in the next few months, so you can look at our website for that. I wanted to actually play this, in case you didn't know, that we had... I'll just have to turn up. So you can see that IDW, it is hosted by the Australian Research Data Commons and is a joint conference really between RDA's plenary and SciDataCon, World Data Systems and CoData. So my ask then is for you to, sorry, we don't need to see that again, but please join the RDA. It's free for individuals. Join on the website, then you can browse the groups, see what groups you want to become involved with. Choose your level of involvement, whether you want to drive an initiative or you want to just observe and sit back, adopt some of the outputs. It's a really great community to be part of. Follow us on LinkedIn. We have a specific Oceania East Asia channel. And I want to see you at IDW 2025 in Brisbane. It's going to be amazing. So with the RDA, we always say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's an African proverb that's very much RDA. If you have any questions, I'm here all week, and we are at the ARDC stand, where we have a lot of IDW comps and information to pass on. And please grab your koalas as well this week and enter our photo competition, because I think you've got some amazing, beautiful scenery here in New Zealand. It's my first time, and I just thank you all for the hospitality. It's a beautiful country. And we have drinks now. Thank you.